Hi, it's Jacqueline from Homeworks, etc. You guys have probably just received your DIY kit for your birthday party, so I'm super excited that you guys are able to experience this today. In the kit you should have your wood, your stencil, some plates for the paint, your paint color selections, your foam brushes, as well as X-Acto knife, which I'll let you know how to use that after, sandpaper, and then we've got the sawtooth hangers as well to help hang your signs when you're done. I'll show you the step-by-step process and we'll get started. Okay, the first thing that you do is you grab your paint color of choice for your base color. I'm gonna just squirt some in the plate, keep it on the side. You probably don't need any more than what I just put on the plate. Grab your foam brush, dip your paint brush in the paint, just dab the extra. Now I always recommend doing the sides first, and you'll find that the edges absorb a lot more paint. So just do your edges. The foam brush, just push the paint, get into those knots, and make your way around the wood. Okay, so after do the sides, as you can see, I just put the piece of wood in front of me, and then I'm just gonna finish painting the top. And I'm just doing one really, really thin coat. That way it's got a quick drying time. I like the look of just one coat because you can see the wood grain through the wood. If you like a more solid look, then you just let this dry and then apply a second coat after. Okay, so I finished painting and I let the paint dry for 5 to 10 minutes, and you will know when it's dry to the touch. Now I did not paint the back side of my sign because it is just gonna end up against the wall, but that is up to you. Now this is our 400 grit sandpaper. I like to fold mine in half, and then you just gently sand the top of the wood just to get a nice smooth surface, and you will notice definitely by the touch that it is smooth. Now if you want to sand the sides, you can as well. And if you want a little bit more rustic look, you can distress the edges. But you can decide once you've done, completely finished with applying your stencil as well. So now I've put my stencil in front of me and my piece of wood behind, and I like to stand for this process just because it gives you some leverage and you're looking over top of the stencil. Take your finger and rub the letters. What this does is it makes sure that the letters adhere to the top, and all the details should now all be adhered to the top. So I'm gonna flip it over so I see my grid side of the stencil. And I'm gonna peel back one corner so that the sticky side is up. And then I'm gonna slowly pull back and making sure that there's nothing on the back side and that your detail is all on this one side on the table. Now this is sticky. You wanna just make sure it stays in front of you. This is a one-time application, so you wanna make sure that this decal stays sticky side up and doesn't get stuck to your tablecloth, because then we won't have the stencil to use for your project. So I take my piece of wood, I turn it face down, the paint side down, and I use the stencil outline is the same size as the wood to line up my stencil to make it straight. And then just drop that, press it down, and flip it over. As you can see, I've got little bubbles here. You can slowly try to remove it. There you go. Rub out any bubbles. You don't want any bubbles at all. Ooh. There we go. And then rub with your finger to make sure that your stencil adheres to your wood. Then you peel back the top layer to expose where you're going to be painting your letters. So now I pick my letter color, and I just take the foam brush and actually dip right inside of the container, and I just kind of dab any excess off, and I just start applying the paint to the lettering. And you might need to swirl your brush or go back and forth. Just really get into the grooves. Try not to go back and reapply. Just keep on moving in one direction, and it's gonna be a nice thin coat that you want, a nice even layer. Make sure that you let it dry completely in between coats, and then add a second coat when you're done. So now that your paint is completely dry, it's dry to the touch, now you take this stencil and you peel back the black layer, and it reveals your lettering. As you notice, it is a one-time use, so this ends up just being garbage. Now in your kit, I've given you one X-Acto knife. So of course it's very sharp, so please be careful. The intention of this is to use for all of the stencils that are still stuck inside of your letters, the D's, the E's, the A's, and you'll find the letter P in the word happy as well that you've got. And you just take that edge and just put it under the vinyl just to help you lift it. Try not to stab your wood. Just kind of use it to help you lift. And then you just peel off those pieces, and voila, there you have your complete sign. The last and final step in this process is to make the top smooth. Just take your sandpaper and lightly sand. Of course, the more you sand, the more paint will be removed, but it just makes that top surface really smooth. If you want to distress your edges, you can take the sandpaper to the corners and add that extra added touch. And there you are, your final signs.